Well, good evening. Good evening. Hello. How is everyone doing? My name is Kimberly Caldwell, and welcome to Deal Architect Live, coming to you live from Charlotte, North Carolina. And it is my pleasure to be surrounded by these amazing gentlemen and women. And we are excited about the conversation and the launch of the Deal Architect Live and the Two Comma movement. I am surrounded by greatness. Going to start with Eric Parrish. We're going to talk with him again tonight. If you had an opportunity to see the restream from last week, it was amazing. If you did not, go back and take a look at it. But we're going to continue the conversation. We're going to speak with Rodney Hamilton, Lisa Pride, Stephanie Morris out of Concord, North Carolina. So how's everybody doing tonight? Is everybody doing good?
Doing great, doing great. How are you guys?
Doing excellent.
Connection is great tonight.
Even though we outnumbered, I'm still doing good.
Well, I'm excited to be here. You know, we are a real estate mastermind community. We consist of investors and home buyers collaborating to create that long-term wealth. And we are inviting you to learn about what we're doing and to partner with us in the future. But we're going to come to you every week and share information. But tonight we're going to talk with these individuals and find out why real estate. You know, Eric Parrish has started an amazing movement. And, you know, I know you spoke last week, Coach, but we're going to circle back around because what you have created is a gift. It's a gift to the world. And your understanding about real estate and your willingness to share information practically for free, because you know that people need the information that you have. It speaks a lot about who you are as a person. So tonight, you know me, I want to talk about Eric Parrish day one. I want to talk about your introduction to real estate. You know, you've been in the industry for 30 years now. But 30 years ago, how were you introduced to real estate?
30 years ago, when I was 3 years old.
Right.
I was going to say 5. I was going to say 5, but okay.
No, but yeah, real estate for me has been from day one. It's been the only career I've known. Been through a lot of ups and downs. But, you know, it all started for me because, you know, from the beginning, I would walk down the street. I'd see all these empires, all this real estate, but I didn't see many people in my circle that could take advantage of this stuff. And I knew, you know, there was something wrong with that. We weren't working together. So that's how this all came about. You know, the Two Comma movement, the wolf pack. We run in packs together. We run alone. We crawl. So, and again, the concept is that, you know, if we work together, the smaller investor, we level the playing field for the small investors to allow us to collaborate and compete with the big boys, with Wall Street. And there's and people who couldn't even get into the game, now they can. And, you know, that's a beautiful thing. And that's what it's all about. And I'm looking forward to doing bigger things. We have 800 members nationwide. By this time next year, we'll have, you know, twice that at least, or over 2,000 members. And we'll be doing big things, not just single family. We'll be doing commercial. We'll be doing multifamily. We'll be doing everything. So let's go get it.
Yes, I'm here for the ride, Coach. Well, you know, I want to dive into your past with real estate. You know, who influenced you in real estate? Who did you learn from?
Carlton Sheets. I bought my first books and tapes from Carlton Sheets, and I went out, and that was in 1990. I had just made it to Houston. You know, I'm here in Texas, and I went out and did my own finance deal. Didn't have a nickel, dime, but I went out there and negotiated a deal. I did exactly what he told me to do, and I went out and bought my first rental property, and, you know, never looked back. You know, since then I've been a builder on rental properties, done over 500 transactions, owned a couple of real estate companies, mortgage companies, lost it all, After the crash, dealt with cancer. Here I am again for 2.0 with the Wolfpack, ready to to conquer the hill again.
Awesome. Well, it's been amazing to watch the evolution of the Wolfpack, the 2.0 version of the Wolfpack, and to see the relationships that are forming and the deals that are in formation. You're surrounded by greatness. We're going to start with Lisa Pride, ladies first, right? So we want to talk to Lisa Pride. I know that you all are both in the Houston area. So how did you all meet and start on this journey with this collaboration?
Well, interestingly enough, we have way more women in the Wolfpack than males. So, as as indicated here, we're outnumbered here. I mean, seriously outnumbered in the Wolfpack. We got like 600, 10 to 20 to 2, 40 to 2 in the Wolfpack. So I'm glad to see that women
rule the world.
Yeah,
Beyonce said it best. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm the first one to admit that women rule the world. We just manage it if they allow us to. But I met Lisa what seems like 20 years ago, but less than a year ago. We have done deals together, and she has been instrumental in what we have evolved into today. So I'm glad to have her on the team. She's in the real estate business and just doing big things. And she has probably, this was the first female to step up to take the deal architect mantle. So I'm proud of her for that. So I'm looking forward to all the things that we can do. So
congratulations, Lisa.
He said step up. I was kind of boosted. I was kind of lifted up a little bit, but that's okay.
Were you
I just want to take. What was that, Kim?
Were you bullied just a little bit?
No, I won't say bullied. I would say lovingly pushed forward.
Okay.
I would say pushed forward with love. But I just want to give a quick shout out to Kim because she is doing fantastic things too. She is a moderator. She is ready to step into the deal architect role as well. So we don't want to take anything away from you because our moderator got it going on as well.
I appreciate
so yeah, Eric, yes, very much so. As Eric mentioned, we met I guess maybe 8 months ago, maybe. But yeah, we just jumped in, took off running. And honestly, when I met Eric, I didn't even know what I was going to. Somebody was just like, hey, we need you to show up at this event. What is the event? Oh, don't worry, we just come. It's a WealthStrat. Okay, sat front row. My business partner was like, why are we sitting in the front row? I was like, well, why not? Why not sit in the front row? And I think that cued him off kind of right away that, yeah, she was easy pickings. But to go a little bit into my background, I am by education an attorney. I have a degree in psychology, and I do have a law degree. I'm originally from Chicago as well. I've been in Houston for over 24, 25 years to have 2 Southern-born children that were born here. Single mom. So my foray into real estate was a little different because I was on the plantation for many years, and that's my reference for corporate America. I'd always said I wanted to get into real estate. I used to say I want to be a slumlord without the slum part. That was my saying back in the day. I didn't really want anybody living in those kind of conditions, but I knew that I wanted to own real estate. So I came in the realtor route. So I am a realtor. I've been a realtor since 2014 when I left or was escorted or pushed out of corporate America, or when God just moved me on up out of there. Yeah, we're going to use that terminology. So have been doing real estate, doing well finally on the retail side of real estate. And thanks to Coach, I've actually been able to get my feet wet in real estate. So I'm just excited. I'm learning a lot. It was a big mental shift for me to go from being a consumer and being a realtor. Kind of takes a little bit of a different mindset to being an investor. So I'm the newbie on the team. I'm the little sister.
And it's always good to have an egghead on the team.
Right. So how long did you practice law, Lisa?
I didn't really practice. I kind of was always in the corporate arena. I was at like an estate's attorney's office while I was studying for the bar exam in Minneapolis as a law intern, or clerk would be the term for it. So I did work as a law clerk. I did some solo stuff on my own, but by the time I decided to move to Texas, I was like, I'm not taking any more bar. I'd taken 2 bar exams in 1 year, passed them both. Make sure I passed them both. I'd taken Illinois and Minnesota in 1 year. I was like, I don't want to do this. So I'm not taking any more bar exams. So I actually worked in corporate contracts. Okay. So I was always either in some form of compliance or actually did sourcing for a real estate management company. I don't know if any of you have heard of JLL, but we actually managed ExxonMobil properties. So I did the contracts. I hired the vendors, from the people that fixed the elevator to the people that put medicine in the cabinets in the building. So I was responsible for all of that. So that was my journey.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the advantage or even disadvantage that you may have as a realtor now turned investor. You know, what advantages and maybe what disadvantages are there? Because we want people to know you do not have to be a realtor to invest in real estate. And I think that's a very popular path that people choose, but that's definitely not the only way. So advantages and disadvantages, if you will.
I think the advantages are probably the tools that come along with being a realtor. You have access to the MLS, the multi-listing service, which is definitely an advantage. You come across properties all the time because you're looking for your clients. So you run into things when you're out in the neighborhoods looking at properties. It's like, oh, look, what's that over there? You know, so I get a chance to move around a lot and be exposed to, you know, being in different areas of town. And also, I think because I'm a realtor, a lot of investors reach out to me. So that sparks my interest and keeps my interest. They're like, oh, I need you to find me. And I'm like, ooh, wait, what I'm doing might not be what you're looking for. But it exposed me, and it opens up opportunities because I'm always moving about. People know I'm looking at real estate, so people have questions about it. And people come to me, you know, when, you know, they may have properties that they need. So, and there are some deals that people want me to list their homes, and maybe the best route for them is not to go the traditional sales route, right? It may be to do an investment. So, hey, I'm first in line for that, right? Because they came to me to get the property. So I think some of the disadvantages is that it's a different mindset from working with people that are looking, or even looking myself, for the value in a deal versus somebody who's buying their first home or their forever home. You know, Coach calls it feel estate. Mm-hmm. They want to love their home. Well, that ain't got nothing to do with when you're trying to make money. You know, when you're just trying to, and I've had investment clients that are like, well, I don't like the color of the paint on the wall. You're not even going to live here. You know, it's a whole shift in the mindset. It's like, why are you focusing on that? You need to be focused on how much are you going to pay for it and how much money is it going to bring in for you?
Exactly.
So that's not a disadvantage, but that's a mindset that I had to kind of change, to being able to see, okay, there's this retail side of the deal, but there's also a wholesale opportunity here. And when one doesn't fit, the other might fit. So that's kind of the disadvantage. And also, sometimes I can get bombarded because I have too many investors that think realtors are going to go find their deals. Realtors can be a source of deals, but I don't think realtors are really always the best source of investment deals. They are a source, but I don't think they're the best source. So I kind of get overloaded with people. Oh, I need you to find me a fixer upper. Got some money? No. Okay. You know, so that can be a disadvantage. But yeah, the mindset shift was the biggest disadvantage because I had to change the way I thought about it.
Okay. Now I also understand you're an expert with credit. So how long have you been in the credit industry, and why is that so important to you?
Going on, it'll be 2 years in June, I believe. And I got into the credit, number one, because my own credit needed some help, but mainly because I had so many people coming to me that wanted to purchase homes. And people are like, they think the biggest obstacle is money. It's not money. That's not the biggest obstacle to most people being able to buy a home. It's most of the time it's their credit. And in our community, and right now, I'm looking at all this beautiful melanin on the screen. I do just want to point out that we do have a very diverse membership in the Wolfpack. You see all the melanin right now, but we do have don't think we're excluding anybody like that. But especially in Black and brown communities, credit is a big issue because credit, number one, was not taught. I've got 2 degrees. I didn't learn about credit in either one of my degree programs, how it worked, how it's calculated, what to do and what not to do. So I just felt that there was such a general lack of understanding or lack of knowledge about that, beyond the pay your bills on time. That's what most people know. So we've got a question.
We'll circle back around to that because it's a great question.
It's a great question. Yeah.
Yes.
So okay, that threw me way off. I lost my train of thought.
What I want to say to you, Lisa, is I appreciate your transparency. And I think that transparency is what it's going to take to really be able to reach our audience.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the School of Hard Knocks, I have enrolled in every single School of Hard Knocks.
Join the club. I've been in a few of those, from the single motherhood to the making poor choices to being underemployed, periods of unemployment. So yeah, I've been through all of that. And I actually found the credit business after coming out of bankruptcy. I actually was one of the few people that completed bankruptcy. A lot of people file for bankruptcy, but they don't complete it. They don't make all the payments and get to the end where the judge says, hey, good job, I'm proud of you. And the judges really do say that because they don't see many people that actually complete bankruptcy. So there was a lot that I needed to learn so that I didn't get back into the situation that I was in before. And one thing I will also say, when I purchased my home over 15 years ago, I went back a couple of months ago. I was going through some old papers and I found my credit reports from when I bought my house. And then I didn't really know. And I was actually working at a mortgage company when I bought my home. But even with that, I still didn't really have an understanding of credit. When I looked at those scores, I was like, oh my God, why did anybody give me a house?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even understand why. I'm glad they did, but it also explains I had a lot of struggles with keeping my house. You know, that was the reason for the bankruptcy. But there were other times during the course of the past 15 years, whereas because I didn't have a knowledge of credit and budgeting and keeping things in order, that I, fell behind, almost lost the house, had to, move heaven and earth and pray to the Lord to be my provider, to keep my house for me and my children. But part of it was because I got a house, my credit was horrible, which means my money skills were bad. Mm-hmm. So I struggle with that. So it's not just helping people get their credit score up there, making sure they understand how credit works and what to do for it. So that's why I moved into the credit arena, was so that I could help more people actually make it to home ownership.
Absolutely. And, people are in trouble financially. So I just appreciate this movement, to be able to offer hope to others that there is another way. And so thank you for sharing that. Thank you for your transparency. Our audience, you are surrounded by individuals who have experienced bankruptcy, foreclosures, repossessions. Like we're going to share with you our truth. And also share with you our successes, because a lot of times you look at people and you see where they are today, you don't know what they have walked through. And so I have learned not to envy where anyone is on their journey, because I know that it cost them something. And so we're going to circle back around, but we're going to talk to Stephanie Morris. Stephanie Morris happens to be family. And if you know me, then I'm going to share good news with anyone that I care about. And I learned about the Wolfpack and immediately shared it with my cousin Stephanie Morris. We have a lot in common. We certainly believe in multiple streams of income. We love the industry of network marketing. We love real estate. And so we met later in life, and here we are today. And Stephanie Morris, just tell us who you are, a little bit about your background and your involvement in real estate in the past.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Morris, and currently I am an entrepreneur. I have a notary business, and I'm a real estate investor. And I first learned about real estate, it was, I think I was 10. No, I'm just joking. It was in my early college days. I went to a real estate investment seminar, and they made it look so super duper easy. And I bought the package. And from there, I just spiraled and bought so much education and went to conferences and workshops. And it's been a lot. But finally, 2015, a mentor, a real estate mentor, she shared with me a done-for-you model of real estate where you had a team. And that really, really set me straight. And that's what I love about the Wolfpack. With that team, I was able to purchase my first rental property in Florida, and I didn't have to go through it. I had people in Florida, professionals, to do it with me and for me. And that was my first rental. And I held it for 5 years and sold it when the time was right and made great money from it. The thing with that model was it was a single family, so the passive income each month wasn't as much as I needed. So now I'm looking at bigger projects, and my goal is to help seniors. So I just love real estate because it's a way to get passive and residual income, and it helps build legacy for your family. And real estate is always here to stay. So there'll always be a house, an apartment, land, mobile homes, storage unit, stores. Real estate is everywhere. And the best thing about the Wolfpack is that we're learning together, and we have wonderful coach and mentors that are experienced. So what you don't know, they will teach you and show you. And so that's what I like about this model. You're not doing it alone. I know in the beginning, when I was learning, I had CDs, I had books online, and I just felt overwhelmed because I felt I had to do it myself. So again, when I found that Done For You model in 2015, I just took off and I got my first rental. And so now I invested in a project with the Wolfpack, and everything is going great. So I just love real estate.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Stephanie. And we're going to talk to Rodney Hamilton. Mr. Hamilton, how are you, sir?
I am doing great. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Glad to have you a part of this community, and I'm just excited about what you bring to the table. We want to know who you are and your background in real estate.
Well, like I say, my name is Rodney Hamilton, from Chicago. Well, I was born in Chicago, Illinois. I grew up in Gary, Indiana. When I was 18 years old, went off to the military. Did some time in the Marine Corps, did some time in the Army. Been all over the place, met a whole bunch of people. And I can remember before that, when I was growing up, when I started driving, 15, 16 years old, back then, I would ride around the neighborhood in my, car that I had, and I would pass by people's houses. I'd pass by the neighborhood houses, and I would always look at those houses and wonder what was going on inside the house. Like, I would always try to match the house with the people that I believed would be living in the house and what they possibly would be doing. I didn't know it then that I would be interested in real estate, like I am now, but I think that was my first real memory of paying attention to houses or apartments or things of that nature. But I would always wonder, like, I wonder what they look like in there. I wonder what the house would look like. I wonder what's going on in that house. What type of family is in that house? What are they doing? Is the dad sitting in a recliner? Is the mom making dinner? Are the kids on the floor, playing with crayons or whatever, I guess I might be telling my age now, but I would always be thinking about what was in the house, though. What was going on in that house? That was that's my first memory of thinking about real estate, other than the houses that we lived in, growing up or whatever. But like say, I went off to the military. When I came home, I remember coming to Michigan. My family, when I got out of the military, my family was in Michigan. And I remember my mom was renting this house. And I remember the landlord. And I remember how much she was renting the house for and everything of that nature. And when I got out of the military, I went into insurance sales because my mom used to be an insurance agent when I was growing up. So I kind of felt to myself like, man, I want to do that because my mom goes out, walks to people's houses, knocks on the door, talk to these people. They come out, they invite us in, and they give her money. And we leave and go to the next house, and it just kept going on. So back then, I didn't know what was going on, So I wanted to be an insurance agent. Like, oh man, I want to do that. She had no verifiable hours that I knew about. She seemed to be her own boss, and I didn't know that was creating that entrepreneur spirit in me. So when I got out of the military, I went into insurance sales. I did that for a number of years. I'm still an insurance agent to this day. But when I got into that part of the business, it was a while back, and it was back in the early 90s. And I was still, you still had to go to the house, sell the insurance, but you also had to go and pick up the payment. So it was okay when I was selling the insurance to people, but when it was time for me to pick up the payments, people treated me like I was a bill collector. You know what I'm saying? So I would knock on the door, and you could hear people inside saying, "Hey, it's that guy, the insurance agents, they knew my name. It was Rodney or whatever." And you could hear people in the background, "Don't answer the door." And I was like, this your insurance. So I got tired of being a bill collector. So I decided to go into furniture sales. When in the furniture sales, I was out of the element. So, and furniture sales kind of took off for me because the same people that were coming into the store were people that I wrote insurance policies for. So they were my clients, and I've been in most of them's homes, so I could help them decorate their home from the memory that I had of being inside their home. So I was pretty successful at that, and it was easy for me to talk to them. So there were a lot of warm leads for me. And I can remember one day, a buddy of mine came into the store, and he was like, "Hey, my brother's back in town. His name is Basil Hampton." He was like, "My brother's back in town." And I was like, "What is Basil doing up here? He must just be up here visiting. He was living in Atlanta the last time." And I was thinking, he was like, his brother was like, "Well, hey, he moved back up here." And I was like, "Well, why he moved back up here? This guy was affiliated with Harlem Globetrotters and things of that nature. So always a successful guy." And I just couldn't, in my mind, wrap my head around, well, why is he back here? And his brother said, "Well, they making a lot of money, man. They doing housing stuff." And I was like, housing stuff? Like, I was like, "Well, all right, man, where's he at? Because I want to see him." Figuring I just want to go see my buddy. And so when he told me, and I went to the office in which he was working at, we got into conversation. I was like, hey man, how you doing? What are you doing back here? Your brother told me you moved back here. What's going on? What made you come back here? And I can about guarantee you it was probably a stack bigger than this right here, these letters that I have. But he pulled his wallet out and had a stack of checks. It was like this. Like if you guys can see that, it was like this. He pulled out a stack of checks and he laid them out on the table and he say this right here. And I was like, and it was numbers like 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, just a whole bunch of checks that he hadn't cashed. And I was like, what is this? And they had it was back they had opened up a mortgage company. And I was like, hey man, I said, well, how do I get in this? How do I get in this? Because show me how to get in this. What class do I need to take? Who do I need to talk to? What school do I need to go to? What do I need to do to produce those types of returns on my time investment in doing so? And he was like, oh, ain't no class. It's just nothing you got somebody got to teach you this. Hey man, I'm here. Teach me. I walk off the job today. Teach me this, because this is what I want to do. I want to get to the point in my life where I can get those checks, those types of checks. I don't have time. I'm training. He was a trainer for this company. He was like, I'm training people. He had, I think it was like 11 or 12, new employees that he was training. And I was like, so I was disappointed. Went back to work the next day. And I had my store manager, his name was Mr. Greasover. And, he saw me, I was doing what I was supposed to be doing in the store, but he just kind of like, hey, Hamilton, what's going on? You don't seem like yourself today. But all I had in my mind was, how do I figure out how to get out of this and get into that? Because I was stuck on the paychecks. And when I actually told him, I said, yeah, I ran into a buddy of mine. He in the mortgage business, just kind of, I want to get into that. And he was like, well, hey man, if there's anything that I can help you or any information that I can give you, he said, I suggest that you do that. Now, this is my store manager. He said, because my best friend went into the mortgage business and I went into the sales business, and he's way better off than me. So he encouraged me to figure out how I could get into the business. So what I did was, I'm go back to work. The very next day, I'm on the sales floor. It's the end of the night. The salespeople sometimes, if you're like the last one or two people that's coming into the store, the salespeople will kind of shy away from you a little bit, thinking, oh, they don't want nothing. They just kicking tires. Let me let them go ahead. I'll let the next person get them. So it was a couple came into the store, and I went to greet them. And when I went to greet the couple, I'll never forget it because it kind of changed the direction of my life. It was a young man and his wife, and he was like, I said, hey, can I, welcome to the store. Can I help you? And he said, talk to her. She looking for something. This is a guy. He's like, talk to my wife. She looking for something. I walked over. I said, hey, what can I help you, man? And she said, well, I'm looking for a chase for my bedroom. And I was like, oh, so I walked them over to the chases. So I sold her on the chase, and she was like, okay, I want to get this. And when she went up to the counter to finish up her paperwork and stuff like that, finish up the actual deal, me and this guy started talking. And he said, well, hey man, you like working there? I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? I was like, it's okay money. He said, how much money you make? I said, it's good enough to pay my bills. You know what I'm saying? I say, I really like to do something else, and I started talking about this mortgage business. And this guy said, and I mentioned Basil's name. He said, man. He said, listen, man. He said, man, he worked for me. I never met this guy. He said he worked. You know what I'm saying? He said, he worked for me. He said he's my trainer. He was like, man, come by the store tomorrow. So I got up that morning and I went by the store, and this guy took me in his office and talked to me about the business. And he said, hey, come ride with me for a moment. You know what I'm saying? We got in his car, you know, and what he was doing was he was selling me on his success in the business. So, you know, it was right when the new Cadillac trucks had just come out, you know, and he had the Cadillac truck, the Escalade, plus he had the one that the one that had the cutout in the back that had like the little trunk on it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He had two of them, you know, pearl white, sitting out.
Avalanche.
Yeah, the Avalanche, pearl white, looking great. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, okay, you know, he doing it, you know. And he said, come ride with me. So he took me to one of the houses that he was looking at, and he said he was walking through the house. He said, I gotta go look at this house. Somebody trying to sell me. And I watched him. He walked in and he pointed out every little crack, every little blemish that was in all the walls, on the floors, and everything, and got the guy to actually, you know, start defending. Oh yeah, I know that got to be done. So what he was doing was he was setting them up to give him a lower price, to offer him a lower price on the house that he wanted. And I was like, okay. So he showed me a little technique in that, and I was like, man, I can do this, you know. Like I sell stuff all the time. I've been selling insurance, you know, selling, you know,
Cases, you know.
I'm selling furniture. I'm selling all kinds of stuff, you know. So I was like, man, I can do this. This is nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna give me those checks. But I asked him, you know, he let me walk around their office and watch his loan officers while they were working and stuff, watch the operation, give me a little feel of what it was going to be like in that business. And I just asked him one day, I said, hey man, I said, would you mind if I came in and just shadowed your clients? I said, I shadowed your loan officers, shadowed your business, and I just want to learn the business. You know, I say, because, you know, teach myself, you know, self-taught, or shadow them so I can learn how to do what you guys are doing. I say, because I'm really, really interested in being in this business versus the business I'm in. And he was like, oh man, I don't have a problem with that. Go ahead. So I went back to the store the following day. I asked my boss, I said, hey, you know, I need to go on part-time. I said, I need to go on part-time. I said, because I want to go over to this business and learn this real estate, learn this mortgage game. And he was like, he said, what kind of hours you looking for? And I said, hey man, I'll work every day from 5:30 to close, and I'll work the weekend, because I knew that I wanted to be at this mortgage company from 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, oh, no problem. So that's what I did. I showed up the next day with my briefcase in hand, suited and booted, you know, to this mortgage company. When all these guys come up, they're like, oh, he hired you? No, I'm just here to learn. You know what I'm saying? I'll work for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I need to figure out what y'all know how to do. Back then, in the mortgage industry, it was refinances. Okay, it was refinances was a big thing. Everybody was refinancing back then. So nobody in that company at the time were doing purchases. So they gave me, after I got to know most of them, they all gave me purchases. So anybody that want to purchase, they would come and give the file to me. Like, here you go, Rodney. Learn these purchases, because I had no deals. I had no knowledge. So what did I do? I got inside those purchases. I started learning what I could do. I started calling the account reps that they had, the banks. I started learning the lenders programs. I taught myself how to close the deals. And in doing that, I hadn't owned a house at that time. I was renting. And what I did was, with, you know, help with account reps and things of that nature, I went and got my first contract on a house. And the first contract I got was the house that my mom was renting the first time I came to this city. And I went, because I knew the landlord. So I went back and approached somebody that I knew and talked to him about the deal. And when I purchased that house from him, I purchased that. I got it under contract May 1st of 99. And I closed on that deal before July the 4th of 99. And I walked away from the closing table with $26,000.
And that was it. That was it for you.
And I was like, I'm it. I'll never do nothing else. Like, I will never not do real estate because the return on the investment. I was like, well, I invested a little time. And don't get me wrong, guys, you know, I was just looking to, at that time, I need $10,000. I got 26,000. I blew it. It was gone, in a matter of months. But, and I kind of felt like, oh yeah, I gotta spend this because I really wasn't supposed to get this money. I was nervous about it because I had never got a lump sum in anything that I've been doing working wise for $26,000. So I'm like, man, I put in three months worth of work and $26,000 check. This is what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything. I believe in this right now. So
rinse and repeat, right? Well, I appreciate you walking us through your story because I have a few takeaways. Once you see it, once you saw those checks, you couldn't unsee it, right? That was embedded in your brain.
I know.
Go ahead.
Sorry, for me, it's possible.
That's right.
Because if you can do it, I can do it.
Absolutely. I have that same brain, best friend. I have that same brain. If they can do it, I can do it too. I'm smart too, right? You
smart too. I believe it. I believe in you.
So the other thing is also, sometimes rejection is protection. So even though that first gentleman didn't help you or didn't seem eager to help you, I understand that God always has a plan.
That's right.
And so he connected you with the next person who was even higher than Mr. Man, right? The first man.
Mr. Man.
That's right. And then the other thing, what I really want to, echo to our audience is blessings come in opportunities.
Absolutely.
You have to be willing to take a chance. You have to be willing to jump. And what I heard you say is that you reduced your hours down to part-time so that you could shadow and learn.
Absolutely.
And that was huge. That was a big jump. And so, what I love about, go ahead.
I'm about to say, and at the time, just so you guys know, I just had my second child. So, reducing them hours down was like, hey, I need you to believe in what I got going on. But I believe in myself enough to say, you know what, I'm gonna take this chance. Give me a couple of months. I'm gonna still bring in a couple of dollars, but I'm gonna go do this.
So in other words, you risk getting put out.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna move right along from that conversation right there. What I like about the Wolfpack is the ability to be able to collaborate. So as a single woman wanting to get back in the game of real estate, it was too risky for me to do it by myself. And so to be able to collaborate is super important to me. And that's what we have here, an opportunity for individuals to collaborate on several levels. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that and talk about the deal. Someone raised a question tonight, I believe. What's another source of finding deals? But before we tackle that, Coach, talk to the audience about the ways that people can get involved in the Wolfpack, because you're serving the home buyer partner and you're also creating deal architects. You're willing to share your wealth of knowledge, what you've learned over the last 30 years with others so that they can create wealth. And, I'll be very transparent as well. At 45, I lost my job. And I realized I was a lot closer to retirement than I realized. And a lot of people are not ready for retirement. So you're able to help a wide range of individuals, Coach. Can you just speak to the audience? Because they're wondering, can I do this too? And the answer is yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely can do it. And that's what the Wolfpack is all about. We broke the deal into 5 distinct roles. And on the stage here, you have deal architects. We're sharing our knowledge. and experience, but there are 4 other roles. The deal architect is a person that's skilled at structuring or gathering and organizing resources and structuring deals with what we call optimal risk and maximum profit potential for all stakeholders. So that's what we do. But we also have the wholesaler where, everybody's pretty much familiar with that role. Those are the 2 active roles. You want to invest time. And remember, you got to be ready to invest time or money. You can't come in here thinking like a consumer. You have to be thinking like an investor. And investors look for things to invest in. What do they invest? They invest time and or money. And ultimately, you want to accumulate enough money to buy back your time. Okay, so those are the 2 active roles. The other 3 are the home buyer partner. We'll start with them, aka tenant. And yeah, I know scratching the head on that. Even the tenant makes money in our ecosystem. So we call them home buyer partners. And we have the landlord. We call them mortgage ready landlords. They bring the ability to get financing, conventional financing at that. Then lastly, we have the JV cash partner or joint venture cash partner. They bring the capital to the table, the buying power. And by the way, the home buyer partner or the tenant brings cash flow and future leveraging power to the table. But the point is, whether you're investing time and no money, you can get in the game with zero. And if you were like me when I first started, you can come in with sub-zero. If you don't know what that is, that's like you old folks, you don't have any money, you're below zero.
Right.
So you can start that way and work your way up and collaborate because you say, well, I don't have any money, but somebody else does. They bring the money, they bring the ability to get financing, they bring the cash flow, she or she brings the deal, and you bring the time, or you may be the tenant. You bring the cash flow to service the debt until we cash out on that deal. So that's how anybody can get in the game, and not just get in the game, stay in the game. Because we have 2 games we're playing. We're playing chess and we're playing checkers. Checkers is the short-term game. That's the profit. Chess is the long-term game. That's the wealth. And you need to play both if you're going to win. If you're ready, we're ready.
Well, I think it's important to talk about, real estate from the perspective of the shortage of houses. I know I was with my cousin the other day. She's always fascinated by the construction in Charlotte. There's a shortage of housing. So there's a lot of opportunity in real estate, which makes me feel very safe that this is not a risky investment, especially with the collaborative community. So, talk about, if you will, real estate and just the massive opportunity that there is for people to get involved at any level.
Well, when you're talking about
facing or in the middle of a recession.
Yeah, absolutely. And, during a recession or good times or bad times, it's always a good time to invest in real estate because of things like the shortage. Right now, the shortage is in affordable housing. Affordable housing is now becoming extinct. Some areas, as you know, like California, affordable housing is 500 to 800,000, whereas in Alabama it may be, still around 90 and 100,000. But even that's rising. Like here in the greater Houston area, affordable housing used to be 150,000. Now it's close to 300,000, which has doubled. So there is a shortage in the affordable housing, which means in demand is because the biggest market in America is affordable housing. We have more people in that price point than any other market. The demand is always there. It's just a matter, can they qualify? And there's certainly not enough housing for them with the shortage in place. So that's where we tend to adjust our strategy to operate in that arena, whether we build it or we rehab it, renovate it to provide housing in areas like that. Even in the north area where Rodney is, you guys over there in the East Coast, same thing here in Central, South Side. It's the same thing. affordable housing is becoming extinct. And of course, that's where the opportunity is. What is a problem? That's where entrepreneurs, which is, by the way, another word for, we call that deal architect. Where there's a problem, there's opportunity. And opportunity are just problems in disguise. And those who have that entrepreneurial eye can see that, and they bring value for the people that need it. Okay.
Well, as we close up, we want to find out if we have any questions from our viewers. But I know there's a wealth of knowledge that is within the Wolfpack. Rodney is going to be talking about his 50. I hope I say this right. Fix and flip for 50.
Flip and 50 concept.
He's going to be sharing that information. Coach is going to be sharing the Wolfpack method. I have a passion for co-living. When I lost my job, I rented out rooms and allowed others to rent out rooms, in Asheville, North Carolina. So I have a passion for that. Stephanie Morris has a passion for senior living. So there's going to be a wealth of information that is going to be shared. I guess people always want to know, well, what is the catch? Coach, what's the catch? Usually they say if it sounds too good to be true, it's not true. But what's the catch, Coach?
Well, I hate to say it, but the catch is that you have to invest something, time or money. And the reason we don't charge 10, 15, 20, 30, $50,000 for our mentoring like other programs do, and not, don't get me wrong, not to say that it's not worth it, but not everybody has that to invest, and not everybody is ready, even if they do have it, to capitalize on that, to get a return on that investment anytime soon. So the reason we don't charge that is because we make our money on the real estate. As we collaborate on deals, the business model we put in place, the Two Comma movement, is designed so that when we come in, we work together. It's results oriented. No results, no payday for anybody.
Right.
So we have to rise together before we can even think about falling. So that's the key to success as far as we're concerned.
And so where can people learn more about the Wolfpack? And I believe there's even a free ebook that's available. So if you
Absolutely.
can direct.
Go to twocommamovement.com and scroll at the bottom of the screen. You'll see where you can get signed up for a free strategy session where we will talk to you about, hey, is this a good fit for you? Is real estate a good fit for you? And come up with an action plan to get you started and on your way to your first deal as soon as possible, preferably within the first 30 days. And we have several people that have done just that.
Well, as we close out, I just want to give an audience an idea of some of the topics that we will have moving forward. You've already heard what sets us apart as the Wolfpack. It is a collaborative community. You've heard from our founder. You've heard from some of our deal architects. You will continue to hear more from them. We need to know who these people are. We're not talking about a small tick item here, right? We're going to be very transparent, with you about our journey. You actually will be able to listen to deals every morning, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We invite you to participate. But our wholesalers, it looks like you want to say something, Coach.
Yeah, we got one of the members that answered that question for me. What's the catch? He says the catch is you have to want to succeed, and I absolutely agree. I always tell people, we'll provide all the support and we'll provide you all the education, all the training, all the coaching, all the mentorship you could possibly need to succeed. But if there comes a time, and I mean this is everything I have, if there comes a time when it looks like I care more about your goals than you do, and we got to part ways. We can still be friends, but we can't do any more business. So with that said, that's the catch. You got to want to succeed, and you got to be willing to pay the price in time or money as an investor to achieve your goals. And we're going to help you do that because our goals are attached to yours.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
Did
that.
we answer the question about finding deals?
No, we didn't. I don't know if we want to open that up. We have 5 minutes left, but do we want to open that up tonight?
Another source of finding deals. Who wants to answer that?
I'll throw a unexpected answer out there. It's talking to people.
Ooh,
Having conversations.
You only won what?
Only
One conversation away from your next deal, right?
You know what I said every day. Literally every day, you only one conversation away from your next deal. So that's the source. I don't care where it ultimately comes from. They all begin with a conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like that. What Sherilyn just put up. She said, if you don't invest in yourself and the business, then you cannot expect returns. You have to spend some time. You have to be present in the now. There's a lot of people that get into this business and they're not present in the now. And if you can't come, well, I've been doing this since 1999, and I've been pretty much self-funding my own deals. So I'm excited to be in the Wolfpack because there's a collaborative effort, and I don't have to carry everything myself. But I've been doing this for the last 20 years pretty much on my own. Few partners in between every now and again, but for the most part by myself, purchasing the property, funding the property, selling the property, or everything pretty much by myself. I've been the captain of my own ship. It's just been me. But if you want to scale, you have to be able to trust that other people can help you get further along, in a more efficient way. But being in the business this long, I still have so much that I need to learn. So I'm always teachable. I'm always in the now. I'm always listening. I'm writing stuff. I got, a stack of notes like this still. And because it helps, you can always learn something. Never believe that you know everything yourself. Somebody always know more than you, or somebody can help you see something that you might not be able to see, and plug in and actually, ask questions. Ask me, how did you do this? What do you see in this that I can't see? How can you help me get from here to there? How can I come in and get no money down? Or how can I come into this thing with no money, no credit, and still make money in real estate? Chime in. We're going to show you.
We have deal labs every morning.
18 streams of income.
Every day. We have deal labs. Plug into those free to the public.
Yeah. Eastern is what? 7.
I have a profound statement to make. This just came to me, y'all.
We have 1 minute left.
But my statement for the evening is change rooms.
Ooh.
Some of y'all will know where that comes from. There's a, and I don't know who says the quote, but it says, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to change rooms, right? Because if you're the person that knows everything, there's no way for you to grow.
You have to find
you gotta close the door and walk into a different room and see what's going on.
Surround yourself with eggheads.
That's right.
Hey. Big brothers that's been out there in the trenches, so you ain't got to get the dirt thrown on you. You can say, "Hey, what I need to do here?"
Absolutely.
So yeah,
almost every successful business, every successful wealthy person in the world has some sort of real estate in their portfolio, or they've had some sort of real estate in their portfolio, or they've been in partnership with somebody else that's got something to do with some type of real estate.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been fun, and the hour is upon us. So, viewers, thank you for watching. We look forward to meeting you in the morning. Tune in where we are in the real estate game, where it's simpler, safer, and faster. You all have a great evening. Welcome to the Wolfpack. Good night.
And remember, you're
You
only
are
one
conversation
away.
away from your next deal.
All right.
Good night.
Go get it.